We're standing at my bridge sculpture. I'm Peter Flanery, the artist. A sculpture that I put up in 2013 was designed in the year 2012, was presented to a committee that composed of the Menominee Valley Partners, the Urban Ecology Center, the Wisconsin DNR, the Potawatomi tribe, and I think certain business interests in the park. So it was a large committee. And it's a little daunting, when at the design stage, I really didn't know what I was going to do. It was trying to find the suitable metaphor. And for me, that's always the important part in making a sculpture, is to find what's the suitable metaphor. And I ended up titling the piece Bridge. And I'll talk to you today about why it was titled Bridge. But what is interesting to me is that the park that we're in is now known as the Three Bridges. And it was unbeknownst to me that that was going to be the name of the park. So, we were in conjunction, the Menominee Valley Partners and all the partners, and what I thought was the suitable metaphor again. When I chose that title, I wanted to make a piece that represented the common ground that the common ground of our mysterious experience of our life on Earth is really the rocks. It's the great equalizer. It brings everybody together. What's also interesting about this sculpture, and is very remarkable about glacial sculpture in the Milwaukee area, is that it is all composed of glacial erratic stones that have been moved from who knows where. They have these varieties of color. There's almost a poetic to it. And I think it's kind of like Walt Whitman's Leaves of Grass. There's all of these, it's not a politic, it's a poetic of something that underlies, an experience. And so I thought that was kind of an interesting bridge to the past, if you will. It's the grid. We think of bridges going forward, reaching out into the unknown, making connections. But I was interested in bridges that go both ways. So that's really the beginning, is this geology, this common ground that we're on, and that kind of poetic. I mean, my work is really as a visual poet, trying to find metaphors, trying to find connections, working abstractly, trying to make things that embody, just a great sensibility of form, but have all these underlying currents that are meaningful. I think, too, having been a Milwaukeean and growing up in Milwaukee, I mean, I was witness to this valley that when I was young, looked like it was, bombed out from Eastern Europe. It was really, remarkable devastation. And I remember in high school it being a very adventurous place. You'd go and it was kind of dangerous. It was overgrown. It was really, rangy and wrangly, and it was just part of how I grew up in Milwaukee. I know that it had all of these connections to an industrial past. I was always able to look past that to, maybe what it was before. And it was always interesting to me that, right down in the valley there was a Potawatomi community center, that there were even connections going back to the very beginning. I think that, too, so much of the geography here is the 35th, the 27th Street Bridge, the 16th Street Bridge. I don't know if those are the three bridges referred to in the, for the Three Bridge Park. You might know, but I always think of those as, I guess it would be 6th Street, 16th Street, and 27th Street. And it was known to me, with the civil rights movement and James Groppe, the now so-called Unity Bridge was kind of a reaching out into, trying to make connections and maybe being rebuffed and, kind of prescient, today with Black Lives Matter and all that, this has been a ground of a lot of interesting things. And so, that was the thinking that went into this, bridges to the past, bridges to the future, connections with the bridges, but in a very metaphorical way, in a very poetic way. One other thing I would like to comment on is just a recollection of the opening the dedication, the opening ceremonies for the park. We had a ribbon cutting just down the trail a little ways, and I came with my camera, and the piece was all fresh and brand new. I came up the trail, and there were probably 10 to 12 kids on it. And it took me aback, but I thought that was really beautiful that it had that kind of attraction, that immediately it was being interacted with, not just in a conceptual way, which is all the other conversation, but in a very physical way. And to me, that's also a mark of sculpture, that I think succeeds. And I hope it did, and hope it does, and hope it lives a nice long life here. And I'm just so pleased to have been able, as born and bred Milwaukeean, to have had this opportunity to put a sculpture up in such a great area, great locale.